A lot of countries around the world, especially in poorer parts of the world, maybe many parts of Africa, are starting to experiment with free secondary education. This is something rich countries have had for a long time, and a lot of African countries are now starting to kind of bow to political pressure from their constituents to improve the access to secondary education. There's been a number of papers showing that this works. You know, that when you reduce or when you abolish school fees for secondary education, that you get more kids into school, which is something that we think is good. My paper is about looking at whether there are effects even beyond kind of the target population. The question is, if you're a child in primary school, if you're a student in primary school, are you more motivated by having access to secondary school? Are there kids in primary school who could perform better than they are, but they're not because they don't have access to secondary school, and so they rationally disinvest in their primary education? So in order to try and answer this question, I leverage a policy change that happened in Tanzania in 2016. Tanzania in 2016 kind of suddenly abolished secondary school fees, and I used data from the universe of, standardized test scores in Tanzania to test whether kids who were more affected versus less affected by this policy change had a bigger increase in test scores in primary school due to having this kind of new access to secondary school to look forward to down the road. And what I find is that it is the case that kids who were more constrained by school fees prior to the reform see commensurately bigger gains in the rates of passing their primary school exams than other kids in the country. And so I think this is kind of a cool way to show that these policies to improve access to secondary school may have knock-on effects that are bigger than what we have previously thought.